Yeah. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? Hopefully everybody is doing well out there today, and we've got some more 2022 NFL draft talk here on the channel. Now, you might be asking, why so much talk about the draft? Well, because it's the hot topic right now, and we really aren't at a point where we can accurately break down a ton of things fantasy football yet. So right now, it's kind of all about talking about what players are next to come into the league. How will that affect some things? What are they going to be doing and things of that nature? So for that reason alone, we're going to continue to talk NFL draft, but this is great for you all because it helps you also understand what teams might be thinking and how it helps out your favorite fantasy football players that you might be targeting here in 2022. But before we start jumping into all the action, this video is called The Perfect Draft. And the one thing that can go along with the perfect draft, well, it's the perfect package by Manscaped. Make sure you go over to manscaped.com, code word headliners, 20% off all of their great products and free shipping. So make sure you go check all of them out before you get ready to hit the beach this summer. Now, as I mentioned, this video is called The Perfect Draft, not to be confused with the perfect draft that we have in our draft guide for fantasy football, but more along the lines of what is the best thing that each team can do at their first round pick at this given point in time. There's been some movement as of late. You know, the Saints and the Eagles just made a trade last week. Obviously, there's been some quarterbacks on the move that some first-round picks have exchanged. Tyreek Hill helped with some first-round exchanges there. So what can each team do to really lock in the best-case scenario at every single pick for them? Well, we're going to talk about it today and really hone in on what each team really should conceivably do at that pick. And we're going to kick it off with the top four. And we're going to talk about Jacksonville first, who finds themselves up here for a second straight year. Jacksonville up here. Right now, for me, it's either protect your QB or get the other QB. And when I say get the other QB, I mean get an edge rusher to get after the other quarterback. Now, me personally, you have an awful offensive line. You just lost your center. Right now, for me, I would be more inclined to protect my first overall pick last year that had just an awful year than I would be to spend the pick on any other position. I know some people are going to disagree with me, but it should be Evan Neal right here. Ikem Ekwonu, I absolutely love him. I actually have him just a little bit over Neal just based on upside alone. But Neal probably a safer pick and would be a great pick at number one overall. That's really what Jacksonville should do. They should focus on taking Neal at that first pick and protect their first pick from last year. For the Detroit Lions, defense. Or if you really want to draft Malik Willis, I'm okay with that as well. Now, here at number two overall, it needs to be Aiden Hutchinson. If Hayden Hutchinson is here, it needs to be Aiden Hutchinson. If they do decide to go a little bit crazy and grab Malik Willis, I'm not going to be upset about it. And I'm not going to be upset because as you've heard me say on some other shows, the dude has just so much upside. I think if the Lions are going to pounce, give Jared Goff a year with Malik Willis in the system, learning the system. There's no guarantee that next year they're going to be in a position to draft a Stroud or any of the other guys coming out, Bryce Young. There's just no guarantee that any of that is going to be available to them. So if you think Willis has got the upside this year and you think you can absolutely pound it with him, then hey, let's go. Get him, move on with him, get him ready for next year, have him take over for Goff, and then watch this organization hopefully start to flourish. With the Houston Texans, it's kind of the same thing at this point as I talked about with Jacksonville. Either get the best edge or the best offensive tackle here. You're handing over the reins to Davis Mills. So either give him an offensive tackle to give him some more time to throw the football, or help your defense out and get an edge rusher here. If Hutchinson falls to you for some reason, it should be Hutchinson. If you're looking at Thibodeaux here, then maybe him as well. Really kind of what you're feeling with the organization, but best offensive lineman here I think would be a smash for them, or if Hutchinson falls to him, let's go with that route as well. At 4th overall for the New York Jets, right now I'm just hoping for the best offensive tackle to fall for them. Either it's Neal or Ekwonu. If one of those guys can get to the Jets are going to be able to knock that pick out of the park very easy to give their boy Zach Wilson a little extra protection this year. Number 5 overall, the other New York team, the New York Football Giants. One of the top offensive tackles or edges would make it here. That's their perfect draft scenario. If one of those guys do end up falling, again, if Willis ends up coming off the board early, or one of these other teams do something that maybe you just weren't anticipating, maybe someone comes up for a top cornerback or something like that, then at this point, New York can draft one of those top offensive tackles to help Daniel Jones, or they go on the edge and help create a little bit of pressure on the defense. For the Carolina, for the Panthers here at number 6 overall, really for me, it's the hope that Malik Willis falls to them, or nobody trades up to Detroit to get Willis either, because that's kind of the two things here for Carolina. Yes, they need to go quarterback. Honestly, this is not a team that has a ton of offensive needs. They don't have a ton of defensive needs. Really, what this team needs is a freaking quarterback. Now, Malik Willis isn't going to be a starter day one by any means, but at least Matt Rule can get his guy and start getting him ready, and then this year at some point potentially take over, and then hopefully you see enough progress that you're not kicked out the door for next year. But heading into next year with Sam Darnold as your quarterback, there's no upside there for this team right now. Hopefully Malik Willis falls to you here, or no one trades up to Detroit to take him there. For the New York Giants at their next pick at 7th overall, really it's the opposite of pick number 5. Either grab yourself one of the tier 2 offensive tackles, which like Penning. Penning falls into this type of area right here, or Cross. I love Penning. I think he's going to be an absolute beast. I know there's some people out there that aren't nearly as excited about him, but like if you get your edge rusher at 5, get Penning at 7. If you get your top offensive tackle at 5, then we're going to go to 7, and we're going to go with a guy like maybe Walker if he ends up falling that far. Jermaine Johnson, one of those guys. They end up getting down here. Who knows? Maybe Thibs ends up falling enough that you get him at 7 there. That would be the perfect scenario. The opposite of whatever you do at 5, you got to do at 7. At number 8 for the Atlanta Falcons, it's got to be the first wide receiver off the board. You have to replace Calvin Ridley this year. You lost basically all of your tier 2 wide receivers. You need to get some offensive weapons on that team, and you've got to do it right now. And by doing that at number 8, you're going to get more than likely the top wide receiver off the board. At number 9 to the Seattle Seahawks, definitely whoever they have on their board is the number 1 cornerback. Whoever their number 1 cornerback is, I'm going with them right here at number 9 overall to Seattle. Would be a great boost for that defense. And number 10 for the Jets, coming back around him, Kyle Hamilton. That's it. I don't want to see anybody going to anybody else other than the Jets at number 10, Kyle Hamilton. That is going to be the perfect fit for them, and the Jets could absolutely just kill it. If they get a top offensive tackle and Kyle Hamilton, or whatever they do, oh my gosh, Jets fans, you would need to be super excited about that. The Washington, I almost said football team, Commandos, going commando, Commodores, whatever they're called. See, this is the thing. We had to make sure that we called them the Washington football team, make sure that we got that figured out. Now we got to get it figured out the other way now. So Washington, that team out there that has all the problems in the world because your owner is a moron, we'll just call him that. For Washington at number 11, D would be great, but another wide receiver for me is the best fit. Put someone on the other side of McLaurin to really take the pressure off and give Carson Wentz another added weapon this year. At number 12 overall, the Minnesota Vikings, cornerback if you're looking long-term. If you're kind of looking at the long-term picture, then it's quarterback. If you're looking, and I said corner, not quarter that time, like I messed it up earlier, you're looking cornerback there for the long-term. If you're looking for more immediate returns, Jordan Davis right here to stuff the middle of that defensive line. People are all over the place on Jordan Davis. You either love him or you hate him. I love him. I think he's going to be a beast at this level. I would be really, really hyped if I'm a Vikings fan to get him here. But I know a lot of you are thinking, a Sauce Gardner here, if he ends up going past Seattle and getting to the 12th spot, I know a lot of Minnesota fans have said that they would like somebody there, but you're going to be competing. A lot of these teams right here in the middle are going to be looking at some of these top cornerbacks. Stingley's fully healthy now, which I think we all need to keep in mind as well. Houston racking up their second first-round pick. It seems like forever since they've drafted in the first round, and now they get 2 of them this year after the Deshaun Watson trade. 13th overall. I'm hoping they get their offensive tackle earlier, so then they can go on the defensive side of the ball here at 13. This would be a really great place for like Jermaine Johnson. If he were to fall here to number 13 overall, that would be a good spot for him to slot in at 13. For number 14th overall, I know a lot of Baltimore fans want the top cornerback available at that point, and I get it, and I understand that. But Linderbaum here, even though he's a center, even though it's not the best positional value you might find, Linderbaum is not going to be available at another pick, and you are going to have to re-sign Lamar Jackson to a out-of-this-world contract if you plan to keep him on your team. If I were you, I would want to protect him. All right. So even though Linderbaum isn't that sexy pick that we talk about all the time, it would be one heck of a football pick. It would help protect Lamar Jackson. And this guy is next level talent at the center position. He's exactly what you would want on that offensive line. At number 15th overall. Now here we go. We go with the Eagles, and then we go with the Saints, and then we're going to have a pick in between them. Then it's back to the Eagles and back to the Saints, because the Saints ended up trading up in here into the 16th spot to get themselves an additional first-round pick here. The Eagles taking a pick next year and a couple of other picks to make that move. Right here for me, for the Eagles, it's the best wide receiver or cornerback available. Really the best talent for either of those positions at that point in time. Yes, the Saints could go wide receiver in front of you, or right behind you before your next pick. So my guess here would be you need to make a move for the wide receiver. Whatever wide receivers here, if they're your top choice, you draft them here, so then the Saints aren't feeling compelled to draft them right after you. For the Saints at 16, they're also going to need a wide receiver. They need somebody to play across from Michael Thomas, or just play for Michael Thomas if he spends all year being hurt again. If you're not going to do that, then you need to take 16 and 19 and you need to package them together, and you need to move up and you need to draft Malik Willis. That's what you need to do. All right. If you're not going to do that, then you're taking a wide receiver here. There's no way that they moved up here into 16 just to grab one of the tier 2 quarterbacks. I just don't believe that to be an option there for them. At number 17, they need to stop the run for the Los Angeles Chargers. I've seen some people talk about them needing to take a wide receiver, and I really hate that. I'm not going to lie. I don't even dislike it. I hate it. I don't like that choice at all. You've got plenty of offensive weapons there with Guyton and Williams and Allen and Eckler. There's no reason for you to go out and start spending a first-round pick when you have other areas that you need to focus on. You are a legit Super Bowl contending team. The last thing you want is for your Super Bowl contention to fall to the wayside because you can't stop the run for a second year in a row. Continue to build that defense. You're going to need to, in a very tough AFC West and a very tough conference overall to make it out of, to get to the Super Bowl. The Eagles here at 18, whatever you didn't take last time, cornerback or wide receiver, we're going to take here instead. You need someone to go opposite of Darius Slay. The Saints coming after the Eagles again for the second time here in the draft. Didn't move up? Get your offensive tackle here. There is an absolute possibility that you get a guy like Charles Cross here at 19. So then you get your wide receiver, you get your offensive tackle, and now you've helped Jameis Winston out quite a bit this year. And number 20 to the Steelers, you better get an offensive lineman. There's just no excuse for it at this point. If you don't draft offensive linemen, then I'm sorry, Steelers, but y'all a bunch of boobs, okay? You've got Najee Harris, who's going to be running into 100,000 defensive tackles and 100,000 defensive ends this year with no holes to run through. You're never going to give your boy Mitchell Trubisky, I can't even get it out of my mouth without laughing a little bit. You're going to need to give him time to throw. Yeah, you need to invest in the offensive line. Just do it already. At the 21st overall pick, the New England Patriots, we're going to be going for one of the top cornerbacks. Hopefully one of those guys does slip a little bit and they get to New England here. They're going to have to replace a couple of their long-term options that they've had at cornerback. They are gone now. You're going to need to replace them. At 22 overall, you have no wide receivers, Green Bay. If you're thinking anything else here, just stop it. Don't draft another quarterback. Don't do it, Green Bay. I know you want to. We're not going to. We're going to draft a wide receiver here. For the Arizona Cardinals at number 23 overall, they need to replace Chandler Jones pressure. Now, you can't replace just Chandler Jones, but they need to look for an option here where they can grab somebody that can help them create pressure. That's going to be a huge need for them. The Cowboys at number 24, you have several options here, but protecting Dak or creating pressure are going to be the top two things I want you all to focus down there in the D. In number 25 for the Buffalo Bills, best case scenario is they are able to move up somehow and grab themselves one of the top cornerbacks. More than likely here at 25 overall, they're not going to be available to you. At number 26 for the Tennessee Titans, people are going to disagree, but a ground covering linebacker is going to be really great. A guy that can go sideline to sideline, that can get wide receivers in the slot a little bit, can give them some trouble, get those running backs coming out of the backfield, being able to just chase people down. That's going to be a really big help for Tennessee, trying to get back to that number one overall seed, trying to get back to the playoffs this year. It's going to be a much tougher conference for them to get as far as they did this past year. They're going to have to continue to work on the defense, and they're going to need speed on the defense. That's the biggest thing. Very speedy conference. Tennessee's going to need some of that. At 27 overall, the Tampa Bay Bucks, lots of options. Take the best talent. That's it for me, because at this point, they have so many open options that they're going to need to fill. Whatever you feel is the best talent available to you at that point in time, go with it. For the Green Bay Packers, you still need wide receivers. Even if you took a wide receiver with the last pick, take another one. I don't care. You need them. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers throwing to God knows who. Amari Rodgers. I like Amari Rodgers. I'm not hating on him. But you don't have anybody, okay? Get him some weapons, please. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to kick us off here with the last four picks, back-to-back picks. Love Hill going here would be great. And when I say Hill, I mean Dax Hill, not Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is gone. Dax Hill would be a great fit because he really embroiders the position that Tyrann Mathieu played last year and what you can do with him in terms of moving him around in the formation. A little bit of linebacker, a little bit of coverage, some spy, dropping back into the safety position, moving up to that slot corner position. He can do it all. He would really fit that Tyrann Mathieu there. And grabbing another wide receiver could be a possibility as well. I know that they did bring in MVS, but drafting a guy like Jahan Dotson here, I don't think would be that big of an issue. I think it would actually be a great pick for them here. So for them to go Dotson here, I'm all on board for it if he falls that far. The cornerback position last year, as the season moved on for Cincinnati, kind of broke down. And that was a big reason why they did lose some leads early in games and really had to kind of fight back along the process through it. So Cincinnati here, taking a cornerback that may or may not fall, would be really good. There's a couple of guys at the cornerback position that have kind of a second round-ish value on them that if they were to draft them here at the end of the first round, I would have no issues with it. The kid out of Florida, Elam, he's going to be a guy that could end up falling here. Really like that opportunity for him. And here at the number 32 position, I'm okay with you drafting Malik Hill up at the beginning of the first round. If you take a quarterback here at the end of the first round with the 32 number overall pick, Jesus, Detroit Lions, I swear I'm coming out there and I'm finding y'all. Don't pick Pickett. Don't pick any of those guys. Stay away from him here at number 32. If you want a QB, draft Hill at number 2, or not Hill, draft Willis at number 2. If you're not going to draft him at number 2, draft somebody else, spend another pick here on defense and keep building up that defense so y'all can get back. I almost said so you all can get back to winning games. That's funny because they wouldn't be getting back to winning games. They would just be winning games for the first time ever. Boom! There you have it. Try to get through it in a decent amount of time because we've been doing a lot of draft coverage stuff. So I wanted to make sure that y'all could get through this video in a decent amount of time to really see this is what I'm saying for each spot. What is the perfect thing that we can do? So do me a favor. Hit that like button for me if you appreciate the content. I would appreciate the like. Subscribe here if you're new and you've never been around before. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Lots of great stuff coming your way. And as always, leave me a comment down below. Let me know who your team is and what is the perfect scenario for you for their first round pick. If you don't have a first round pick, my condolences. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting out of here. Y'all stay safe and healthy, and I will catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.
Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on third down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chub life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation.
I'm a headliner.